Hi, friend.
Hi, friend. Are you ready?
Ready for what?
To level up.
Okay, girl, let's get started. Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of Level Up with Raman and Alysha.
On today's episode, we'll be talking about feedback.
Yeah, so feedback, whether it's in your day-to-day life as a person or when it comes to work or progress on anything you're working on.
Yeah, I feel like when people think about feedback, like the first two things I think about is school.
Yeah, that's true.
School and then work. So I feel like we're always constantly getting feedback. And then, obviously we're getting feedback from our damn family and friends our whole life as well.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to say damn family and friends. I mean, great, give us feedback.
So, it's kind of, you're always getting feedback on something.
It's always the family members' feedback that, we never want to listen to.
It's true.
But I think every child grows up like that.
But yet our family, Raman and I had a conclusion yesterday when we were talking about decision making and how we would make decisions in life. And one of the things we came to conclusion is that, our parents are always lecturing us and then we're like, we want to rebel. We want to show them a different way of life. But then I was like, well, Raman, what are you going to do when you have a kid? And she went quiet and she thought about it and she's like, yeah, you're right. I'm going to
be a psycho parent. Yeah, 100%.
You may not agree with all those choices that they make, right?
I feel like the main thing is that I think Alysha and I are on the same page about is that people don't like feedback. Right? I feel like there's not a really high percentage of people that like feedback. Good feedback's great. Who doesn't like hearing good feedback and good things about themselves and good, whatever, characteristics or whatever it is. But who likes hearing bad feedback?
I do. That's one of my strengths.
But not, a lot of people. A lot of people don't like negative feedback. A lot of people can handle negative feedback as well. So when I think about feedback, I'm, not necessarily thinking about the positive feedback because I don't ever hear anybody complain about positive feedback. I hear the complaints about the negative feedback.
Yeah, I do agree with you. That is true. And I think that has to say a lot about the other person giving the feedback. You have to get good and bad feedback. It can't always be a coaching moment when it's all negative.
Yeah.
I think you need to have positive milestone wins and achievements and also negative when it's acquired, right? Required? I said acquired.
Required.
Required. Did I say required or
acquired?
I don't know. Okay.
Well, we'll probably hear this when we listen back to it. What the hell did she say?
So, I personally like good feedback and bad feedback. I think in work-wise, yes. Okay, so when it comes to my professional career, our business, 100%. I think I want to hear the feedback from customers and clients and those that oversee or look into it. I think it helps us progress. It helps us become a better person at what we're doing. And it helps you develop better. And it also helps you realize, now listen, you don't have to agree with all the feedback that's given, but you can't also be someone who says, oh, that person's just a bitch. No. You also have to think about what they're saying. And if you can see it, then it's something that needs to be changed. If you're someone who's blindly saying, no, this person's crazy, and you don't see it at all, then you're either in denial or you're not looking hard enough and being honest with yourself. And I think that's what it comes down to, is being honest with yourself. Now, in my personal life, I don't enjoy feedback. So, when it comes to working out at the gym with my husband and, how he thinks things should be done and how I think things should be done. Or I have a few health issues that I've discussed on the podcast. And everyone has an opinion about that too. And I personally just don't care for other people's opinions if they haven't gone through what I've gone through. So there's that kind of feedback too. And it's kind of you need to learn to filter out what's going to really benefit you and help you progress. But then you also need to know that some people just want to state their opinion, right?
Yeah.
And it's knowing the difference between opinion and feedback.
100%. Obviously, a workplace is somewhere where feedback is very clear. It's clear that this is either a peer evaluation or your, one-on-one. Well, I mean,
what if you have a manager that has been telling their boss, and I say this because I've seen it happen, saying the entire time, I'm going to, you're right, I've been coaching this person, I gave them 3 tries, now it's time to let them go. And then you're at that final termination and HR sitting there and they're sitting there and he's like, well, this is why we're letting you go because of ABC. And the person looks at him and goes, you told me I was doing great.
Yeah, I remember you giving that example before, and yeah, that's like an example of a very bad situation that like nobody should be doing that.
And that's
you know
what I mean. You need to know.
I do think not all managers. Okay, when I look at it in terms of an organization, I feel like not all managers are trained to give proper feedback, right? They might think like feedback is something like just telling the person what they're doing wrong or stuff like that, or not actually creating a step for improvement or how we can prevent this and how we can grow. And also what you said, like not just mentioning the negative feedback, but also highlighting some good points too. So I do think just in my experience, in my work experience, not every manager has been good with giving feedback. There were some that were better than the others. And I think it did have to do with the type of person that they were. If their company did not offer them like skills and stuff like that on how to give feedback, they went and they kind of learned those skills on their own, or versus like, yeah, when the company does invest in training their managers to give proper feedback, right? So that way there is no backlash. And I think like a lot of companies with feedback, it has to be tracked, right? You have to I remember in my last company, like they had to actually take those feedback notes and put them in the system as well, because then there would be like, whatever, you would see it on your next performance evaluation or something like that. So I do think there are managers that like suck at giving feedback. So sometimes it is the manager. But here's my thing. There's two types of employees. One, like what we said, like us, if someone gave us negative feedback, we're going to take that information. We're going to be like, at least think about it. Like, is my boss just a crazy psycho bitch? Or is there something I can actually improve on? And that's like I think that's great. Because if I'm fucking up at something and I have a chance to not fuck up on it anymore, why would I not want to take that opportunity to improve, right? But then there are those people that, take it very negatively, will come out and be like, she's such a bitch, I hate my job, I hate my boss, and blah, 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 and will not kind of use that feedback information in a positive way or kind of in any way. They're just like upset about it, right?
Exactly.
And that's why I think I do think most people are not good at hearing feedback.
Yeah, and you know what? Okay, so that's where it comes down to, your manager. And like you said, a manager has to be able to coach well. And I think that's something huge as a manager, as an asset to have for management. If you don't have that, if you don't know how to help people grow, develop, or coach them, and if they just don't like do the task that you've given well, or they failed at an assignment, I don't think it's fair to say, okay, well, you're out now. I think that's a coaching opportunity. Everyone deserves a second and third chance when it comes to a work performance level.
100%.
And I don't think it's just like, oh, sorry, we hired the wrong person, this isn't working out. No.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people do that, and a team can really fail if the manager isn't doing well themselves and they don't know how to talk to others. And that's what it comes down to. And then, there's the other side of it, Raman. It's the other side of also reciprocating like you and I would. I think Raman and I have gotten bad news in our lives, but we can still have a smile on our face and nod our head.
Yeah.
And it's also how you deliver it and how you receive it. So to be on the other side of that coaching moment and not be to be on the other side of the coaching moment and to reciprocate it well, whether it's good or bad, you should always you should never really show anyone your weakness. You should never let anyone see that you're impacted by this, but that you have a can-do attitude of how you can bounce back from this or how you can work on this. So, for example, let's try this out. Here's a little skit we'll run. Hi, Raman Dhaliwal.
Oh, hey.
So, this is our peer review. And I thought we'd go over some of the things that you've been doing in the last 3 months since you're new to the company.
Okay.
And basically, Raman, I see that, you're doing really great with your tickets. You're doing very well in responding to our customers and clients. And I see you communicate well. Your tasks have been on time. However, I do feel like you're not showing a lot of communication on...
Oh my God, terrible. Can I say this?
Yeah, you do.
The best way to say is you never tell the person like what's wrong with them. You always say what's an area of improvement. Okay. So you would never say you're bad at this. Okay. Oh my God, I might come out of... guys, I have a complaint against Alysha right now. That's what's gonna happen.
Okay, go.
But the way, like, the best method that I've kind of, like, and this is not just in work, like, this is, like, if you have somebody you're hiring underneath you and you need to give feedback, or you're in an assignment, or if you're ended off in a positive, kind of like the hamburger paragraph thing that they taught us. So you start with a positive, and then I started with a positive. I gave you 2 bonuses. I know, but you always say, like, and you know what? I feel like this is not just in a workplace. You can use this in other areas. Like, but your friendships. Say, an area of improvement, though, I think an area of improvement could be if we did this instead of this. I think it would help you be more efficient in this task, or it would save you some time. Do you think that's something we could try out in the next 2 to 4 weeks and see if that works out well? So
yeah, I think that's great, Raman. I could definitely do that. And while we're doing that, do you think you can help me in these other areas? Because I am struggling.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you brought it up to my attention.
Yeah, and so see, like, how the conversation can change, because it might be just something that you're overworked, or you actually don't know how to do something and you're too scared to ask because you're new. Yeah,
or you could be like, I noticed that like, this area is falling behind, or it's not meeting its deadlines. Are you overwhelmed, or is there something that you need help with, or is the workload too much? Do we need to take some things away? So exactly. You don't, but I feel like it depends. I'm still going to go back to this and say, I still think it depends on the person. I think a manager can give feedback in, like, the most greatest way ever. But if a person is, like, their personality is that they don't want to hear anything negative about them, or will not take that in a positive light and will take that negatively, like, I don't think there's any way that the manager could have said something to make you feel differently. And you know what? I do think at the beginning of my career, I was bad with feedback because, I felt attacked. That's how I felt. And I'm pretty sure that's how a lot of people feel, right? You feel attacked. Sure. You're like, I come in every day and I do work and I go above and beyond, and you're complaining about this and blah, 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 blah. Like, we've seen it. We've seen it all. Like, it's like, all the negative comments against managers. But, over time, I did learn that if I want to be better than other employees, which I do, because I'm selfish in that way. It's not a bad thing to want to be better. No. So, but if you want to be better, you have to be able to think that you're not perfect and there is something wrong with you. Not in a bad way that there's something wrong with you, but just that, like, you're not perfect. Everything can't be right with you, and if it is, then it's your ego, right? Thinking like, oh, I don't make mistakes, I don't do anything wrong. Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, I completely agree with you on that point. So I think that's to say, what, it's the individuals that are communicating, and then, I think being able to accept feedback is a huge part of anybody's life. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's something you need to work on if you're aware of it, because you know what, you can't go around having people walk over eggshells around you, especially in your personal life. You don't want to be that person that attacks everyone because someone is sharing something with you to help you progress. People only do it either because they're getting paid to do it or because they actually care. No random person's going to stop you and say, hey, like, I think you should change your life because it'll benefit you. No, it's usually the people that care about you the most.
100%.
So unless your goal is to push those people away at the end of the day, you should try to listen with an open heart.
Mm-hmm. So that brings us to the next thing. How do you give feedback to someone who's close to you?
Oh God, you and I suck at that.
I know, we really suck at this.
Because Raman and I are such suckers, and we just don't want to hurt our friends or family members.
But it's like, I feel like, no, it's not an equally important thing to do, but I feel like there are times where you do have to give your friend feedback because like you said, we do it with our loved ones, and we do it because we only want the best for them, right? Exactly. We don't want, if you are going to see your friend fuck up over and over again, and you saying something can kind of prevent that from going forward, it's almost like, why wouldn't you do that? But again, people don't do it because people don't, on the other end, don't reciprocate well, and it's because they don't want to hear anything bad about them.
So I feel like you and I go through that sometimes when we need to tell each other stuff. Yeah. And I feel like I'm someone who takes a moment, but I come back. Yeah. And it depends on my mood too, especially if I have a lot going on. Yeah, like, I usually see it coming, though. I feel, especially with you, I know it's coming.
And you're my, like, evil laugh right now.
Because then I know, like, okay, you haven't been doing this. And it's good because it helps motivate me and push me and remind me how important something is for me to keep working on it. Yeah. And then, like, I don't know.
I feel like in terms of like business partners, you and I, and if there like are any other friends out there that are business partners, or even just like they're not friends and they are business partners, I think like open communication and feedback is so important because again, I do this with Alysha a lot, right? Like, and I feel like it's important though that we do this, that we do tell each other when the other person like needs to either step up or needs to do something or whatever the case is, or like I have this problem or what's going on or I'm having a bad week, right? So that's why like whatever the case is, I feel like me and Alysha have been really good so far, knock wood, on telling each other things. There are things
but we had a rule when we first met. Our rule was pure transparency.
Transparency.
Wow. Can't talk today. Pure transparency between each other. So if we're upset at one another or, you know, someone said something to each other, because we're both pretty strong, opinionated women, that we needed to tell each other right away. So we didn't let it, like, continue on or snowball.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that open communication and that feedback that we have between each other has kind of helped us get to where we are today. Because if we didn't, like, we would have just thought like, oh, everything that we're doing is just like la-di-da, right? Like there was no area for improvement if we didn't do the whole feedback thing.
It's true.
And I do think, and you know what? Okay, so I'll give an example. Sorry to cut you off.
You have your evil laugh on.
I know. I don't know what's with that. I don't know what's with my evil laugh today in this podcast. If I don't
like it, I'm totally cutting it.
So Alysha and I, you know, we didn't have a system in place. We didn't. Yeah, we
especially coming out of the pandemic.
Especially like being in the pandemic, everything was kind of so chill. Like we didn't have a lot of weddings and stuff like that. And then coming out of the pandemic to going into a busy time, Alysha and I didn't have a system in place. We just like.
Things were up in the air.
We were like, oh, someone messages, we're going to respond and blah, 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 blah. But then it wasn't necessarily working out for us.
No.
And we did have a talk and we did come up with a way. And I do think that way is working out fantastic so far. Yeah. You know, we kind of delegated our work and we separated our responsibilities and stuff like that. And I feel like if I didn't tell you or like talk about it with you, then it would have been like an unspoken issue between us.
100%.
Then that would have been way worse because it would have snowballed and it would have affected other things, rather than to talk about it and be clear and transparent and then see like, okay, how can we improve?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at first, I said goodbye to her on the phone.
Yeah.
And Raman was like...
I was like, oh shit.
She's not going to call me back. And then I needed a moment because I was going through some stuff too. And I know Raman was waiting till I came out of what was happening, but it was just taking longer than usual. And then I realized that I was about to, like, you know, I don't know. I was just not in a good place. You know, it was just right after the
You
vaccine.
needed a moment, like what you said. You needed a moment. You need to think through it and then come back.
Yeah, and then I realized this wasn't an easy thing for Raman to do. So then I called her back.
Yeah. And if you didn't, oh my God, I'd be so stressed out.
Yeah, and I know, and I didn't want to put you through that either. Yeah. So I called you back and we talked it out. We like talked it more out in depth. Did we cry?
No.
Oh. Was that another conversation?
Bitch, when did I ever cry?
I cried?
Oh, maybe. Yeah. That sounds more right.
And then we talked it out, and that's it. So, like, you know, it's... I could have not called her back. I could have just hung up and said, fuck her, she's a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
But no, I knew this was important to her. I knew this wasn't easy because Raman doesn't do well with confrontation, especially with the one she loves. And so I knew that wasn't easy for her. So I knew that I had to reciprocate it and make her know that the next time she does this, it won't turn out like this. That there will always be a turnaround and you're not going to lose your friends for doing things like this or family members. So I also knew I had to deal with my emotions, but make sure her emotions were in check where she's not scarred for life. Yeah.
Oh my God, scarred for life. But this shows me that like you're good at taking feedback, right? You didn't take what I said and kind of just like, that's bitch or blah, 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 right? You took a moment, you like absorbed it, and then you called back and we came up with a plan and it's been working out great. And I think that's how everybody needs to take feedback, right? Yeah. Feedback's not easy to hear.
No.
It's not like, oh my God, like I said, like when I think about feedback, I don't think about positive feedback, you know, I think about like negative feedback. And I think Like, that's what people really struggle with.
And they associate it
Remember that time I tried to give, like, I gave, like, negative feedback to a manager, and then she, like, the next day told me, like, it was really inappropriate.
Yeah, I remember.
That was, like, the most joke thing. Guys, I was miserable in this job. Like I said, like, we've talked about this. We changed managers, like, 5 million times. Yeah. Our manager had to, like, go on a leave of absence because her manager was so stressful and it was such a toxic environment. Yeah. So I had that day where I got fed up, right? And I literally, guys, I went to this manager and I was like, I wasn't rude.
No, you weren't.
Because I was sitting, like, around everybody. You were saying
what everybody wanted to hear.
I was saying what everybody was thinking and just not speaking up. Yeah. So I was like, why would we, like, continue to be in this kind of environment when all it takes is one person to, like, speak up and say something? So anyway, so I told this manager, I was like, nobody's happy that you guys are, like, changing teams and, like, making decisions without letting anybody know. And then we kind of just, like, find out and get thrown in the air and then nobody's happy about it, right? And then the next day, like, I'm thinking she's pulling me aside to tell me, like, thank you for, you know, to get, like, being a voice or something. Yeah. And she was like, it was really inappropriate, like, what you said to me, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? I remember telling her, I'm like, honestly, you can take what I say as positive feedback and do something about it. And I remember exactly saying these words. I'm like, or you can take it in a negative light and see it the way you are. Yeah. And because I was like, I'm not staying at this job, so I didn't really care. We didn't. Right? So I was like, you know, she could have taken that information and been like, okay, so my team, the morale's really low. So this is showing me morale's low. I need to do something different. Yeah. She could have taken that, because I don't remember being rude or, like, loud or anything. I don't think you were either. I was frustrated for sure. But
we all were.
And
she saw that. She was frustrated too.
And, you know, shortly after, Alysha quit and I quit, and then everybody quit.
Yeah, literally. We were like, bye.
Well, she didn't change. And you know what? Our boss, who went on a leave of absence, guess what? She quit too.
Yeah, everyone ended up. It just wasn't a healthy place to be. Yeah. But yeah, see, and that sometimes you do have to speak up, and sometimes it'll go your way and sometimes it won't. Yeah. And you just have to be prepared for that. So kudos to you, because it's not an easy thing to do.
It was like a breaking point.
It was a breaking point, and it was a reality check for all of us, I think.
It was. Yeah, absolutely.
But, you know, so I have a question for you. Okay. How do you handle, we talked about business, we talk about work. How about a personal one with friends or a family member?
I have had to say stuff that wasn't easy because I'm bad at confrontation.
Yeah, you are.
And I had to say it because I love my family and my friends, and I just, you know, like, I want the best for them, right? I only want the best for them. I want them to be better people, better. I was lecturing my friend the other day at dinner. I was like, girl, like, I'm gonna lecture you right now and give you, like, some life feedback.
But is she good, or do you guys have that open communication where she's good like that to listen to you?
I do have friends, so she's somebody I can be open, but not necessarily someone who will, like, absorb it, right? So I think it just, you can do your best, right? And it is going to be how the other person absorbs it and reflects on it. Like, either they'll do something about it or they will not do something about it. Or either, like, they'll take it in a negative way or they won't take it in any way at all, right? Yeah. And I think it, like we said, it depends on, like, who you're giving that feedback to. Like, how are they going to take what you're saying, and, like, what type of person you are. And what type of feedback it really is.
Yeah, definitely.
You can't, like, totally hurt people's egos either.
No, you can't. Yeah. Because then they won't ever come to you or take anything you say again. Because you've just destroyed them.
Yeah. We've destroyed them.
I feel like, you know, we had someone we used to work with that we tried to give a lot of feedback to her because she was a lot younger.
Who? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did have a coworker. Oh, my God. The famous question that Alysha wanted actually us to answer today was, how do you tell your, like, best friend, like, coworker at work that she's doing a bad job? Like,
or she's going to get fired.
Like, say everyone has, like, their work besties, their work friends and stuff like that. Yeah. And that's cool. Like, there's friendship, but then there's actual work. Yeah. And sometimes you can see that, like, that person's like,
you're on the wrong road.
Yeah. So how do you tell your coworker best friend that they're going to get fired?
We had someone who was a lot younger than us working with us. Yeah. And I think it was her first work experience.
Mm-hmm. It was.
Right?
Yeah.
So she was quite loud. she had the reputation as ratchet.
Yeah.
She was cute.
She was a good worker.
Yeah, she was very smart, intelligent little girl.
Yeah.
But she just had all these other qualities that weren't always on the professional line.
Yeah.
And I think we worried about her a lot because we're like, is she going to get fired?
Yeah.
And I think we tried to approach her a couple of times, and she didn't take feedback well.
She just, like, didn't think there was anything to do about it. She was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm who I am.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So then there's people like that who are so much younger, and you've gone through so many jobs, and you're like, I've seen this play out before, girlfriend. I'm trying to help you because I'm trying to save you from getting fired.
Yeah.
But they're not open to hearing it. And that's what it comes down to. So, you know, sometimes your friends aren't in it to compete with you at work or hurt you or have the ill intentions, but it's more so the fact that they want to help you because they see that you're part of our team and you represent us at the end of the day as well. So we're all one team, and if you're making yourself look bad, then you're making the rest of us look bad too, especially when you're colored and you work in a corporation. I'm sorry to say, but us brownies got to stick together. And we thought we were doing her a solid, but it didn't turn out that way because she didn't care for what we had to say.
Yeah.
And she ended up staying the longest out of all of us.
That was funny. That was entertaining. But another example that I'm thinking about is one of my friends has been complaining about her coworker recently. And she's just like, everybody hates her. Like this other girl, like her coworker, she was like, I feel bad that she doesn't know that everybody in the office hates her. Like, and I was like, how do you, and I was literally just having this conversation with her. I was like, but how do you tell somebody that like, you're literally annoying the whole office? And she's somebody who's very outspoken. Like, she told her boss was like, no one's approaching me. She was straight up like, you're not approachable. Right? Like, how do you expect to... So she gave her boss honest feedback, and her boss didn't do anything about it. She continued to do the closed door policy, have, like, whatever, this other girl in her office all the time, which doesn't really give room for other people in her office to actually come up and, like, approach her with a problem or a question that they have. So she was just like, how do I tell... Like, how do you go on working and, like... You know that the whole office hates this person. Obviously, you can't tell the person, like, everyone hates you. But it's like, how do you tell the person, like, you need to do things different? Like, you need to stop doing this because it's, like, annoying everybody. Or this is causing you to have a bad reputation. Or, like, whatever the case is.
Like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Yeah,
because then you're also, like, the snitch from the group that told her.
Should you just do, like, Jersey Shore style and leave a letter?
Right? Right? Like, maybe, but then I would be so heartbroken.
Yeah.
If I got an anonymous
Don't
letter,
ever do that, guys. Don't ever do that.
I'm reading it in front of all these people that sit around me, I'd be really hurt.
Yeah. I'd be like, who sent me this letter?
That would mentally fuck with me.
Yeah. Don't ever do that, guys.
Yeah.
Be the person, like, you rather straight up, like, tell the person... What was that?
Email, sorry.
Like, you would rather be the person who's going to straight up tell the other person, and whatever, if they get mad at you, they get mad at you. But you know what? It's like, do you want to either change or do you want to continue being this person in the office that everybody dislikes?
Yeah, I agree 100%.
And that's why, like, feedback is important. We think it's important if you want to improve as a person, right? Yeah. So whether it's in your professional life, in your personal life, honestly, even in marriage, I don't know if you saw this. Did I send it to you? I think I sent it to you, this TikTok. And it was about this wife, and she's like, this is something me and my husband do once a month. We have a connect on this date, and we have this open talk about, like, is there anything that you want to... I think I sent it to you. We
do that. But not once a month. We'll do it once in a while where we feel like we've hit a rut. And then we'll go on a car ride and we'll ask each other... He's going to kill me for telling everyone this. But we will
But it's good for people to know because they need to do that too.
Yeah, communication. So I will ask him, is there anything you'd like to change about our relationship from my end that you feel like it isn't well? And then he'll, like, at first we joke and we're like, oh yeah, nothing. And then I'm like, no, really. And then it comes out and we do. And we'll say, we only go up to 3 things each time though, because we feel like we're not going to make a list of 10 things because A, it's unachievable. B, it's kind of hurtful and hard on each other. So we come up with 3 things, even if it's something as small as like, you left your socks out again. Or, you know, like, it's kind of like a nagging corner for us. But it's more so like, you know, I don't like that lately. You've been doing this and I feel this. And, you know, so we hear each other out.
I think that's honestly so great.
Yeah.
And I think it's good if you want to continue to prosper in your relationship and continue to have that healthy relationship, because not open communication, and you do have to make an effort, right? 100%. It doesn't just like come out, and you don't want things to build up and only come out when you're gonna blow up.
Nobody has a blueprint to their life, their career, or their future relationships, or their relationship with their spouse.
Just their home.
Exactly. You can only change what you like to your home, but you can't change everyone in your life or everything in your life. And we'll save that topic for another one. But I think it's so important to communicate no matter what it is. That's what it comes down to, is communication.
Yeah.
Being strong and confident about it, being able to hear it from someone else, realizing that other person can also, it could be a lot harder on them to give you that advice too. And being able to reciprocate it and also learn from it. And who doesn't want to be a better person at the end of the day? The better version of themselves.
100%. You couldn't have said it better. Be the better version of yourself. And in order to do that, stop taking feedback as a negative thing. Take it as an area for improvement. And be appreciative that somebody's telling you that. Yeah. Because your cocky self can go on thinking, oh my God, I'm the best your whole life. Like, there are people like that. I get no negative feedback. But listen, no, nobody's perfect. Everyone has flaws. Everyone has areas of improvement. Everyone has annoying things that people don't tell them about. And be appreciative for people telling you that, and take it, reflect it, take a moment if you need to, but
no matter how old you are,
don't hate on that person.
Yeah, don't hate on that person. And there's always room for improvement, no matter how old you are and what stage you are in your life or what you've accomplished. Doesn't matter.
Absolutely. Well, thank you everyone for listening. If you're not following us on social media already, follow us at Level Up with Raman and Alysha. And if you have any questions, concerns, or any topics that you want us to discuss, you can email us at ramanandalysha@gmail.com.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.